Hello, and welcome back to Of the People. I am Robert Chernin.
And I am Ericka Redic.
And we are glad to be back. Thanks for staying with us.
Yes.
Heck of an ending to the last segment.
Oh my God.
I could have kept going.
I got so fired up. I'm so fired up. I laughed so hard when I read that headline.
I can't say I blame you. So I want to create conjure up an image in your mind.
Okay.
If I say the word Camelot, what do you think?
Camelot.
This
the
is not
Knights.
a test,
The
right?
Knights of makes me think of Monty Python and the Search for the Holy Grail.
Touche.
Honor.
Okay. And when I think of Camelot, you do know, so the Kennedy administration in the 60s was referred to as Camelot, right? It was this gilded age of, now, personally, I always wanted to be Lancelot. I'm not sure I wanted to be King Arthur. It didn't end too well. But so supposedly there is the possibility, because Camelot was this gilded or golden time in U.S. Politics in the country. There is now another Kennedy running for political office. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the son of Robert F. Kennedy, has declared that he is running for the Democratic presidential nomination. Now, we're not backing candidates, but I'll tell you what I find interesting. First of all, the name Kennedy can never be taken lightly. Initial polls, you want to know how much people do not like the current president or the current administration, his current polls show him out of the gate at 19%.
Wow.
Right.
I'm not going to lie, Robert. That doesn't surprise me.
Right.
We got together with my mom this weekend. She's probably going to be totally embarrassed that I'm sharing this story, but she
Hi,
heard.
Mom.
Lynn, hi, Mom. She heard about it and she got so excited. She was like, I am grateful that there is a Kennedy. I remember a time when that name meant something, and it meant reasonableness. She got all nostalgic, and shared what that time in politics was like for her to experience. And she was about it.
Right. Now, look, let's be candid here. Does anybody really think that given sort of the Tammany Hall way that the Democratic Party runs, do you think there's going to be a presidential debate with a Kennedy and a Biden on the stage?
Oh my God, no. Didn't they already say they weren't going to have debates? They already said no debate.
Well, not only no debates, you're going to see the reemergence. I guess that must be a contradiction in terms. You're going to see a reemergence of Hidin Biden, right? So President Biden is, I don't know how you can reemerge and hide at the same time. I'll figure that out. But Hidin Biden is going to come back because there is no chance they want to debate a Kennedy.
No,
and look,
they don't want to debate anybody.
Right. Keep in mind that Kennedy is an avid anti-COVID, anti-vax, guy now. Anti-lockdown. So, number one, he is not towing the party line. He is not espousing the dogma that they're going to want to hear. So they certainly don't want that on the Democratic stage, for sure.
Correct.
And look, not that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is a panacea or that we're suggesting people vote for him or not. I mean, he also backed Hugo Chavez in Venezuela. So you got to sort of take this in perspective.
Yeah.
Right. Right. But I find it very interesting because what I will say is there is such a shortage of politicians with courage. So whether you like the guy or not, can I say the word cojones? Because might I like to say that? Because
sure,
Bill Maher now has a cojones award, so I figure if he can say it, I can say it. So and if not, I guess I'll get reprimanded. But there is such a shortage of politicians that have courage, and it's easy to be to go along. The late Senator Sam Ervin, the late great senator, and this goes back many years, used to say in his Southern drawl, "Son, in this institution, sometimes to get along, you have to go along." Right. And there is some truth to that. But in today's day and age, whether it's the American public who is voting with their money in their feet or fighting back against curriculum, CRT, and all that other nonsense they're shoving down our throats. So kudos to Robert F. Kennedy for actually stepping into the fray.
Agreed.
Didn't you say last segment that people don't want to run for office. People don't want to get involved.
Yeah. Yeah. As you know, I hate to sound like a broken record, but after running for Congress last year, I can tell you it was a really challenging process. Not only do you have to hire professionals and pay lots of money to people to understand really complex, complicated legal crap that they put in your way with FEC rules and all this stuff, your own team will believe lies about you from the press, people. I mean, it is so challenging. And a lot of times we're asking people to give up lucrative private sector jobs and other things in order to serve. And so,
yes,
you know, I just think it's so disappointing. Let me rephrase that. It's encouraging when we see political candidates who are willing to buck the system, not go along to get along, and to say what's true for the people that they represent. You know, right now you're seeing a major rift in the Progressive Party because the Progressive Caucus
between who and who?
So progressive representatives and their constituency, they're really being abandoned. The AOCs, the Pramila Jayapals, you know, those
I always wondered how you pronounce that name. Thank you for that.
Yes. So the squad, their voters are super mad at them because, hey, we sent you to Congress with a mandate and now you're just going along with whatever the Democrats are doing. Now they're saying the Democrats are right wingers, which is, you know, crazy and outlandish. But the point is, you aren't voting to represent the people who put you in office. And you're getting pushback and you're wondering why. And it's like, you know, if you're not going to stand for the principles you got elected on, then don't run for office. That's my preaching moment for today.
Right. And you wonder why there is a shortage of people, either people with courage or politicians with courage. And I think we're slowly starting to see it's that network news moment in that old movie where, you know, Albert Finney sticks his head out the window and says, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. So whether it's the bar owner, whether it's the patrons of the bar in Indiana, right, Bloomington, or whatever it is, people are starting to fight back. But there's such a shortage of that. By the way, did you also know, since we're talking about shortages?
Yeah.
Did you know there's a shortage of teachers now?
Wow.
Aren't you shocked?
I am not even one bit shocked, actually. You know what? I can't even feign pretending to be shocked. Of course there's a shortage of teachers. Right. Who's going to put up with the nonsense going on with our schools right now?
Well, who? So at the start of the school year, I think it was the NEA, you know, big education. I forget who put out the study.
Yeah.
There were 44% of the schools had vacancies in teachers in this country. And the retirement of teachers or people leaving the profession on a percentage basis rivals the amount of people leaving law enforcement. Right? So, and why do you think that is? Why are people not, because, and I have a contrarian theory, but I want to hear what you think about this.
Well, I'm sure it's a bunch of stuff like vaccine mandates, mask mandates, expecting you to somehow be able to be the moral arbiter of the world and make everyone safe, happy, and healthy. The outrageous expectations that you teach gender ideology, being demeaned and demoralized by your administration. Need I go on?
I have two. You don't. You're correct in everything, but I have two words for you that sums it up.
Okay.
There's a new term in your vernacular, or it should be in our vernacular, and it's called white shaming. How you like them apples? Right? Most of the, and by the way, there's a story, again, you know how I love stories. So a woman I want to say it was Missouri, right?
Okay.
I think it was Missouri. I'm sorry, it was Kansas, right? And her name is Kadrin Sullivan. who basically said, I've had enough. I know I'm going to be attacked by everything, but I have to come out and call this what it is.
Yeah.
Right. So another example of political courage where people are starting to get involved and she basically said that if the parents knew what the kids were being taught in this school, they would be up in arms.
Wow.
Right? And if there's a reason that all these teachers are leaving and retiring and they can't hire new teachers. Now, my contrarian view to this is we already have established that since the 60s, we have lost sort of the influence in academia, and we can discuss whether it's K-12, whether it's, higher education, that under academic freedoms, which we'll talk about in a second, right?
Yeah.
But to me, if there are people leaving the profession, anybody listen to the show, if you're, whatever demographic you're in, if you're young and you're thinking about going into profession, we need people now to go into teaching.
Yeah.
Because people are leaving, and either you're going to further seed ground to, let's call it the other camp, right? Or you start fighting back by retaking some of, when I say the land, meaning
the cultural institutions.
You got it.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
I love it. I think that we should, and conservatives out there, Christians, Republicans, be encouraging your kids to consider being teachers. But that also really means being willing to be administrators. There are a lot of folks in teaching that just want to be teachers. They don't want to be administrators. And so you have people who do not understand the profession ending up in these superintendent positions, and they're the ones pushing down all this woke nonsense. Get involved in politics. Don't just, oh God, all of you teachers leaving. Hold on. Okay. I got an idea along with what you're saying, Robert. Are you ready for this?
Talk to me.
Everybody that's retiring because of the nonsense, because of the white shaming, which you're right, it totally does. That absolutely is happening in our schools. All those people run for office. Okay, run for school board, run for city council, get a commissioner or commission seat, committee seat on something, because you have seen
get involved. What you're saying is get involved. Get involved.
Do something, because you've seen firsthand the damage that is happening to our kids and to our culture, and you are uniquely designed to be able to fight that.
But you know what it really is. So we've stopped teaching how to think, right? What was it? There was another article, I think, UNC, University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, 600 or 700. Oh, this one.
Oh, this butters my biscuit.
Excuse me? Butters your biscuit?
I'm so mad.
Wait. I love butter on my biscuit.
So I know. I don't know why that's a negative.
Butter on my biscuit's now a bad thing. So
wait, is that
okay?
A bad thing?
I'll
Did
have
I
jam.
Just use that expression wrong?
I'm going to change. I'm going to have jam on my biscuits. Just to be
but
clear.
That's also good.
Right.
I think I used the expression wrong.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, write this day down. Lord Benjamin, make a note. Scratch this from the tapes. So 600 or 700 professors at UNC Chapel Hill came out against having a course at the university that requires them to teach about the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, and the Federalist Papers. So what's happening in North Carolina is the state legislature has put forward a bill that, if signed, would require the teaching of the foundational documents in this country. And 670 or 80 or whatever it was of the professors came out and said, that's against academic freedoms and our intellectual understanding. Basically, they said, we know better what to teach. Don't tell us what to teach.
Wow.
And I find it interesting that, so now that they have a, what would you call it? A chokehold on academic curriculum, anything that forces them to teach about the founding of the country. Because we go back to when you were talking about the politicians in the first segment, about, well, they're reading the Constitution wrong. They're not reading the Constitution. They don't know anything about it. They know nothing.
That is so true.
So these guys are against it. And it just, I mean, that's part of the problem. How do you know what makes this country special if you have no idea about what it was founded on? And these guys don't want to teach it.
Well, and what's astonishing to me is how many of the people that signed that, because I nerded out. I obviously went and downloaded the Excel file and then sorted it by professor or field of study. Let's see. There were, oh, I just did my number wrong. A vast, vast, vast majority of them, first of all, are public health. Public health and medicine.
So they're scientists.
These are scientists.
Trust the science.
Trust the science, but we don't want to learn about the, that's how you can have scientists and medical professionals say things like, who cares what the Constitution says?
Right.
Because I know better and I'm the smart person. And you should listen to me and not those old guys from 250 years ago. But my favorite were the American studies people. That was my favorite. There's 10.
Wait. There are professors from UNC who teach American history, basically. And they don't want to teach about the Constitution because it infringes upon their academic freedoms?
Yes. Yep. And anthropology. Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
American history. Yep.
I don't know about buttering my biscuit. It's probably not the right expression, but that does make me angry and get me pissed off because so basically, again, these are the same people who only want to teach their interpretation of history and they don't want you to know about. But honestly, answer to me this question. It's rhetorical, but answer it for me anyways because I don't get it. How do you expect people to understand the uniqueness of America in the annals of the world, in the history of the world, in all the things we talked about, American exceptionalism, if they know nothing about the Constitution, they know nothing about the Bill of Rights, they know nothing about the Declaration of Independence? You know what I'd like to do? We should do some field research. I'd love to go out with a camera and a crew and start asking people what they know about this document or that Constitution, Declaration of Independence. I mean,
I love that idea. A man on the street segment.
Don't you think? I think we should do it.
Now it's on now.
We're going to need an armed bodyguard because I think most people are going to say, I don't know, or they're going to give some, can I say the word dumb? Some uninformed answer because they have no clue about the Constitution. They have no clue.
We don't have civics anymore. We don't teach. Let me rephrase that. Many schools across America don't bother teaching civics or history in American history in any meaningful way anymore. Now in Texas, you have to take Texas history. My understanding is every single year of school.
Remember the Alamo.
Literally. And I can tell you that it makes Texans fiercely prideful about where they're from. That is, when they know all of the things that have happened on this land over the course of hundreds and thousands of years and the struggles of people, it really instills a sense of pride. And not to say that we then gloss over any dumb or terrible things that we've done, but nothing is all good and nothing is all bad. And this idea that we have to throw the baby out with the bathwater, let's bring up a new expression, is really just foolish. And if we don't know why, if we don't understand where we came from, I'm going to fit as many cliches into one rant as possible. If we don't learn our history, we're doomed to repeat it. So the same people who are trying to cover it up and say, oh, we can't look at it, we don't want to talk about it. If we don't remember and learn those lessons, we're going to go back to the Dark Ages.
Wait. They're rewriting it. They're not right. They're not teaching it. They're rewriting it. I was watching the news the other day, and I forget, but the woman who's the press secretary for the president was giving a press conference, a daily press conference to the pool reporters, and she had the audacity to claim that under the Biden administration, illegal immigration is dropped 90%. And yet the facts. I mean,
What?
let's not let the little facts get in the way, right? Well, you want to talk about this whole segment's been about misinformation, right? And how whether they're censoring it or whether they only want to teach a certain information in academia.
90% from what?
I don't. I mean, who know? I mean, look. To me, that's like an out of body experience. I think she's done one sort of trip on on drugs too many, right? But how do you straight-faced look at reporters and say it's dropped 90%? Same answer. They're redefining history. They're rewriting it. They're retelling it to a narrative that they want that is so detached and devoid from the facts that you sit there. I mean, in the beginning you scratch your head and going, "Huh? I don't get it." But after a while, you just sort of go, is anything they're telling you the truth? Now, some of it has to be, but when you look at the reporters and say that illegal immigration has dropped 90%, and this is the spokesman for the president.
Yeah. It is the literal definition of gaslighting. It is the literal definition of gaslighting. And that's and that I think it's so disorienting because you hear that stuff and you're like, where did you even come up with a statistic like that? You can't have that. I know that. Okay, I'm going to collect myself.
Breathe. Because breathe.
So I know that they did something, and I'm trying to recall what it was. They did something a few months ago where they reclassified encounters at the border as something else. So they made it so that if you turned yourself in, it was like classified as a different thing. And then whatever. Oh my God, this is going to make me crazy. I'm going to have to come up with it for our next show because I remember literally thinking, oh my God, they're changing the name that they can change the statistics.
Excuse me. That's 101, right? If you can rewrite history, why can't you redefine terms and redefine numbers?
That's exactly what it is. I feel like we're living in 1984 right now. Oh my God.
Well, I mean, next year will be 2024, so we're close. But look, there's so much of this that we can talk. Well, it is maddening, but again, because I'm in a good mood today, I want to end on a good note because we do have to go to break. I'm getting signaled from Lord Benjamin, our producer, that we have to go make some more money. We go through money a lot on this show. We have to keep going to break. I don't quite get that, but we can talk about it. So it's just, it's mind-boggling. But I am encouraged that people are now starting to talk back, fight back, act, vote with their feet and their money. So, ladies and gentlemen.
Hold on, Robert. Speaking of talking back and fighting back, where can they send us their comments and questions?
Oh, they should send them to you and not me. Thank you. No, I'm just kidding. So thank you for reminding me. By the way, that's her really diplomatic way of saying, Robert, you forgot to do that, which I did. So anybody who wants to comment, question, good, the bad, the ugly, you can email me, robertc@asicfund.org. That's robertc@acekfund.org. Erica, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Folks, we're going to break. Stay tuned. Last section is going to be the best yet of today's show. We'll be right back.